Now we're on page 44, and we've got a new piece called RaStop and a new concept called double stop. So the title RaStop is actually kind of a play on words between Rastafarian and double stop. So we all know what Rasta is, right? Because this is kind of a reggae flavored piece. And then the double stop, it's a term that really applies more to violin and cello, but I thought it'd be fun to use it in the title here. And it does apply because the first system, if you notice, we've got two notes in every measure of just the first system. Okay, kind of like what we had in Guitar 2 for 3-play. We don't really use the term double stop so much on guitar. It's when we play two notes on the same time. It's more difficult on violin or cello or double bass. So it's a term you hear more with the string section from an orchestra. But we can use it here because it's applicable. Let me talk about how we're going to finger with the left hand and the right hand the first system. The rest of the piece is very straightforward. Just a first and second ending, 4/4 time. Pretty easy. Okay, let's look at the first system. Now, if I say the note names, we've got E and A, resolving to D and G if we look at bars 1 and 2. Okay? The E and A are where they always are. Just because we see notes stacked one above the other, it doesn't change the location. Sometimes I have students, they ask me, well, where is that E? Is that the open high E, or is it the second fret, second finger on the D string? Well, clearly it's the second finger, second fret on the D string. The other E is written up on the top space of the staff. So we shouldn't confuse those two just because we see two notes stacked one above the other. Okay? So they're in the same location they always are, whether they're played separately or together. What we do have to consider is how are we going to finger that with our left hand? Because normally the E and A would both be played with our second finger arched right behind the fret. You could bar and flatten out like I just taught you on the piece 3-play, okay? Or you could do the technique we've been doing in the other pieces where you use two different fingers. And that's what I recommend here. If you look above in the book, I wrote 1-2, but you can also use 2-3. Either one, whatever you'd like there to play that E and A. 1-2 or 2-3. Totally fine. And then it resolves to the D and G on beat 1. Those are open strings, so you don't need to think about that. First measure, obviously, you're hitting on beat 1 and beat 4 because we have a dotted half note on beat 1. If we look at the next set of two measures, measures 3 and 4, what you're playing here is AC on beat 1, AC on beat 4, and then G and D. This one you don't really have to think about any new fingerings because normally we would play that A with our second finger, do that. Normally we'd play the C with our first finger. Fine, just put them down at the same time. Hit it again on beat 4, and then it resolves to our open G string and our third finger, third fret for the D. So let me play the first system for you just so you can hear how it sounds. Okay, so that's the left hand fingering. Let's talk about the right hand. If you're a pick player, no problem. Just strum downstroke and just be careful to try and hit just those two strings, the D and G for the first two measures, and then the G and B for the measures 3 and 4. If you're a fingerstyle player, we're going to learn a new technique here. So far, I've told you to play all these melodies with the rest stroke, right, where you pull through and you land on the string below. Here, I don't want you to do that. I want you to use the free stroke. If I've mentioned that to you, if your instructor has mentioned that to you. That's where we use the same idea, but instead of pulling down at the string below, we actually kind of target it towards the back of our palm, and it's a free stroke. So if you look, and you can use I and M for the whole phrase, or if you want to use I and M on the first two measures, and then so you don't have to shift at all, you can put your third, you can use your ring and your middle finger for measures 3 and 4. So whatever you prefer. Another technique you could use is kind of pinching it with your thumb doing a downstroke and your index finger coming up. I don't do it this way, but this is valid as well. 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. But I really recommend doing it the first way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now that I've played it for you kind of strictly with the metronome, and don't forget you have the SoundCloud tracks as well, let me play you kind of just a solo guitar version. It's intended to have this kind of a feel behind it. 2, 3.